Hello, YouTube. So, I've got notes. So this is officially the stream is done. So, let me, okay. Where am I? Okay. So, I did not stream, I don't know, maybe the last 5-6 days. But I did manage to. What I did is I did a whole bunch of what do we call it? The Infinite ZA Royale. So I don't know if it'll tell. Oh yeah, it tells us I've done 29. There's a whole bunch of other things. I think if I go in here, yeah, we can look at the titles I've unlocked. So I could sit here and grind forever and get 40 and 60 so I can have a shiny gold emblem. I finished the rest of the Mabel, and I think it's well, it says 213 research tasks. I haven't thought about that aspect, but I'll put that in my closing thoughts. Actually, I did all the I think it's 119 side quests, and I collected the nearly 7 million monies to get all of the clothes in the game. So, which is nice. I mean, I don't have any specific goal on this, but I can just point out on the map. There's this area here, the Galerie de la Lune, which is kind of the fancy mall with the most expensive clothes. Up here, there's the Passage du Palais. Passage du Palais. Which, you know, I had some clothing options there. Every place ended up having unique things. I thought there could be like overlaps. Here we have the Passage Ombragé. And then down here, we had another mall, the Passage de la Félicité. And I bet, I'm sure I haven't explored that much of Paris in real life, but I've been there 9 times. I think all of these kind of mirror a real like area in Paris. And this one's the Promenade du Vent. So the windy promenade, which had just a few shops here. So that's where I got my last items. So if you wanted to find them yourselves, that's where they would be. And then, you know, I just wanted to go through all of them. So this outfit was made by Ellen. So I think it is what I'll wear going into the DLC next week. Yeah, unless there's a whole bunch of new clothes in the DLC, I might try some new looks. But I'll just kind of go through all of them. If there's any that I think are exceptionally cool, I'll probably talk about that. So, and notably, all of this clothes is accessible if you pick the male or female model. I think there's some subtle changes on the tops and like shoes maybe, but otherwise it's basically the same. So we have the shirt and jackets, and the off shoulder I think is referring to the shirt underneath. Interesting thing here is you can kind of customize it, so you buy these individual things and they come as a pair. But when you pick the color, you can then mix and match with the other colors. And then that's, you know, if I were to select it, it would have those weird color combos. And you can do that with anything that's listed as a set. Puffer vest feels pretty on brand for a French game, or French city anyway. It's not a French game. So you got the hoodie with the vest over it, which is fun. Little simple cardigan. This, is kind of awesome actually. It even looks pretty cool on the male character. I despise this, but in a kind of a good way. It's like a shitty used car salesman vibe. This, I think, is one of the coolest jackets. Like, that's just oodles of style. I really like this, just like the cool text. They made it all vague. You don't know, what it is really. So I got nothing on that. Just simple layering. It's kind of a cafe set. It looks like, which is pretty nice. I love this sweater vest. The logo pullover is pretty cool. This one's incredible. Like, I love. It's just Beware, but like, that's fucking awesome. I hope they make some like real merch like that. It's the same one without it. Leather mix pullover, which is kind of cool design. The Pokeball. This I was wearing for a large portion of my like post-game experience because I just thought it was kind of cool. Alolan Muck. Like, I don't really like Alolan Muck, but I love the color combos. It's like really fun. Schematic, two-tone. This is also really cool. So you got the Solrock, and I think on the back is the Lunatone. And then we have, this is like the Claydol style, I think. Oh, and I see they also have different colors you can put underneath it. Okay, that's kind of cool. Turtleneck. This one's got patches. That looks more like a male waiter top. Yeah. Okay. They come in different kind of styles. The plaid is aggressive. This crop top, like, I think it's like, these look cool. I just think it's strange that they force you to wear kind of an undershirt. And they give you, choices, but you only get whatever they have in there. It's like strange that they have a crop top and they don't let you wear it as a crop top. Like the jacket and the biker jacket. Like, this one's kind of cool. They're just like throwing in athletic clothes that some women might wear. Like, I like this, kind of a traditional, I assume this is traditional Japanese, but it looks very Chinese to me for some reason. Simple shirts. Okay, these at the top of the thing, the V-neck and the off-shoulder, that is the V-neck, off the shoulder. And then these, I think, were given because I pre-ordered the DLC. So these you do not get to buy in the stores. So we'll go through the pants next. So I like the skinny jeans, look pretty good. A lot of the wide-legged pants, I think wide leg loose fitting pants are kind of a cool style. The asymmetric one here I think is awesome. And the cargo pants like this. Just like these specifically. Extra loud style, which is fun. The track pants I think are pretty nice. This one reminds me of like Louis Vuitton. And that one's just awesome. That matches the jacket I really like. Then they have, oh, I got striped stockings. That's a cute look actually. So, I think it's fun that they let you just cross-dress in the game. It's a cool inclusion really. The short shorts I think look the best out of all the shorts, because all of these kind of like they sit weird on the character model. And then another a skirt, so it's skirt shorts. I love these wide leg pants. They kind of look like something you might wear to work. Then there's this skirt with legging combo short. The chino short, I think's a good second compared to the short shorts. Like these look pretty good on the character model, I would say. The sweat short, I think, is like the worst. It just feels wrong. And I kind of like the vibe of these hollow jeans and wide legs. They look weird, but I think the texture looks cool. It's like a fun design. So now we have like the proper sets. So these replace the top and bottom if you wear them. So they got the trench coats, which are of course cool. This jumpsuit's really fun. Overalls. I think it's cool they included some overall sets. Like that's really cool actually right there. Love that. Even that's kind of cool. I have kind of a frilly girly set. The romper's hilarious. Like, I mean, this is a game, so the characters don't use the restroom, but it's just hilarious. Like, you have to like take a romper off if you want to use the restroom. Overalls. These overalls are really cool, actually. Bow tied in the back. The kimono here is really cool. And I love this jacket. This is pretty cool. Looks like tactical gear. They have a wealth of hats in the game. You got, the trilbies, so you can signal that you would like to be single forever. The beret, of course. This is a French game. A whole bunch of headbands. I love they have all these headphones. Like the first ones I got were these fancy ones from the gallery. But they also have simple ones in another store. So, hold on. We had a call. Okay, so I was just going through the beanies and stuff. Like, I like the beanies. Not sure. Oh, I like the fact that they have that little hanging tip. That's kind of cool. And then down here, there's one with the little pom-pom. We have some caps. Ugh. More headbands. These have some designs. A spider web, which that's fun. And I think we have a metallic one. A boater hat. I think this looks bigger than it should be, which is a little weird. These are cool. So it's kind of like a chest spinnier one. A little bucket hat. I think looks really cute with this hair, actually. Arabesque. And then the hollow ones. They don't have an awful lot of glasses, but I appreciate the inclusion of kind of just some standard styles. This one's without the top rim. Round rimmed glasses. They all have quite a few kind of standard options. Some of these are tinted, which I think is cool. Oval ones. Those almost look round to me. Some sporty ones. This is the one that Corbeau wears. I think I appreciate him as a character. And they gave us some X and Y visors for the DLC. The gloves, like I think basically all of the gloves kind of look bad to me, except for these. These look pretty cool. 3-finger gloves. So, I guess I can switch to, I'll switch to the short shirts so we can look at all the stock. So those cargo pants that I'm wearing. I want to make sure I keep that outfit on. So, we got these striped socks, which are irrelevant to the look, but I'll keep them on. So, let me change the shoes to long boots. Combat boots, white combat boots. I'll do these simple pumps so we can admire the million sock options and leggings. So they just have some basic quarter socks, the knee-high socks with various patterns, cropped leggings, which I realized after the fact are kind of like, what do you call the short jeans? I don't know. They're cropped because they go down, I guess, about 7/8 standard length. Tights cover all of the leg, which they have a lot of color options for the, or I guess it's not that many color options, but then they come in like the extra colors. Like these look nice, like kind of cozy winter vibe. Giraffe rig, incredible. I like the two-toned aspect of that. Asymmetric, I think it's just fun in general. Avalon blue and black. That's cool, the diamond pattern. And then they have the thigh-high socks, which is what is currently on the character. And then they have a couple of these frilly options. Oh, also the tights and socks together, which you might do in exceptionally cold weather for real. Okay, so let me put my cargo pants back on, and I'll go through all the shoes. I'll remember it was the combat boots that I was wearing. So they have a number of casual sneakers. These I really liked. I was wearing them with my Alolan muck set. High top sneakers, various designs. These look really cool to me. I think I wore them for a while in the game. And this is like a fancier version of that. You have the opera shoes, just like a formal suit type of shoe. And the loafer is a more casual version of that. Some standard lace shoes, which I think these are like cool in a like bulky, blocky way. Suede boots, toe capped. Kind of, I don't know if these are meant to be steel toe looking. They're kind of cool though. Got like a one with a little pattern on it, and another patterned one. Combat boots are what I am wearing currently. And then, so you have some other, these are shorter boots. And this is kind of like a fake Ugg. These I thought were pretty cool too. So it's kind of like a chunky boot-shaped sneaker. This kind of looks like something you would use to wade in a swamp or something. That one too. And then they just have some flats down here. The very purple loafers. And a couple of the hollow options that came with the DLC pre-order. The satchels, there aren't too many of them. They have like the round ones that have various designs. These square ones, like I really like the tie-dye is wild. And the spider web's cool too. We got the plaid. Black patterned. That looks cool. It reflects the light in a fun way. So does that. And then a little satchel. Kind of a fanny pack, if you will. And a smaller version of it. And they only give you X and Y round hollow, which is interesting. And there's also, like, so I'm wearing the lightning earring. I think that one's probably my favorite. I don't have earrings, and I don't think I would get my ears pierced personally, but I do think they can look cool on men and women. And I like the flower ones too. I don't know if they let you. I think they let you zoom in. They do. Okay. So yeah, I really like the lightning one because that's just kind of a cool design. And they have multicolor black lightning with some metal, simple studs, triangles, and then the hoops. So, I mean, that covers all of the clothes. And then the final thing for this stream, I took some notes to try and, I don't think it'll be that organized, but I just wanted to go through what I thought of the game. Like, on a whole, I think the game was really well done. There's a few things I think critically are problems, but so like I think as part of that, I'm gonna fly to the Gare de Lumiose. This is where the story started. So we come out of here and you just kind of get thrust into the game. Like, I feel like it's the motivation for the game is really weird, and I think it's good too, because it's your character is just on the train coming to visit Lumios, and then when you get off, Donnie just was like, "Oh, hey, film this thing with me." You just get thrust into it, and you never really get a choice to say no. It's like, it's so fun that that's the way they decided to thrust you into the story. You know, it's kind of weird, it's kind of childish, right? But like, I don't find myself that attached to the story, but at the same time, I think the story was really quite good. Because even though I didn't have the choice, just generally, it's like, okay, I remember Lumiose City. I do want to save the city, help the people, figure out what's going on with all the multitude of wild zones that pop up throughout the game. You know, and then where we end is pretty satisfying. You know, I know no one watched this, but I won't spoil the ending either. But you know, it's really satisfying though, coming from having played the original games the city's based on, X and Y, and it had a lot of the characters that are featured in, you know, not a lot, but a couple characters are from the games. AZ, the man running the hotel, and Lysander, or L, was the villain leader of Team Flare. The twist everyone saw, or well, not everyone would see that coming if you hadn't played the games, but like so. But it's really satisfying, kind of getting a bit more, seeing what happened after, and getting kind of a conclusion for AZ and, you know, all of that. You know, finally getting access to the Floette, which is in my box here. So that is a fun fact as well. This Floette, which is now level 100 because of all my grinding, but like Light of Ruin right here is an exclusive move for this Floette. No other Floette can learn it, and this Floette also cannot evolve. So I think we can Mega Evolve it because we have the Floettite. You know, and it's like, it feels special because this is AZ's Floette. It's the Floette that the whole story of X and Y revolves around this Floette existing. So it's really satisfying to have a bit of a conclusion to that story. Like, I don't know if Nintendo, Game Freak, the Pokemon Company ever intended to make Pokemon Z. I would have guessed at some point they probably were going to. And this feels like they're kind of through some of the conclusions they would have made in Pokemon Z, and also featured, you know, Zygarde in the story. So it's really satisfying in a lot of ways to finally have a reason for Zygarde to be a legendary. He's in here too. So, and of course has a Mega Stone as well. So we have a lot of new things and, you know, reasons for Zygarde to exist that are in this game. You know, they did do more with Zygarde in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Horus. But like, that was more of a slog. You had to collect all of the 100 Zygarde cells to unlock the different forms. Like, it felt more fun in this game, you know, seeing Zygarde appear and lead you around and then eventually fight you to earn his trust. Yeah, so it's cool. I think they did a lot of cool things with the game, story-wise. Like, the only thing that really feels missing is that you had to read all of the dialogue. I feel like they could have hired some talented voice actors for the main characters and literally just invited fans to submit clips to, you know, farm out all of the voices in the game to just people that love Pokemon. I would love to see that in the future. As far as like the game itself, I wanted to talk a little bit about gameplay. So, story I really liked. It could be better, but like the balance of it being a good kids game, it all makes sense. The gameplay itself, like they had a lot of good ideas. Like the whole point of the game, I feel, is to interact with the world. So we interact in several ways. You interact battling people, which I don't think I'll do right now. I've done plenty of battling. The combat of the battles really still feels pretty traditional Pokemon, which I think is good. The other thing I think is pretty good is just they threw in, you know, some cheesy movement stuff that doesn't necessarily work that well. But it's nice because they kind of encourage you to explore. Some of this was probably intended to let you jump around the gaps and stuff, right? But not all of it was. They're just like, here's a movement system. It's not that good. Explore the world. Like, I think a lot of that's really fun and good game design because, you know, they just threw buildings. They threw a couple of these, let me see if I can find one of those obstacle courses really quick. Oh yeah, there's one over there. So, you know, that at the beginning of the game you don't have this glide, so some of it's confusing. You're like, how am I gonna get from this side to the other side? And like this one, you might, you know, this one's a good example because I probably can't roll over. Or no, you could roll over, barely. But gliding would have been faster, easier, right? So, but like I love like this aspect. It's like it doesn't really belong in a Pokemon game, but it feels kind of nice because it doesn't feel nice. I know that doesn't make sense, but like it's kind of like those frustrating games where you're climbing but on a smaller scale. Like the movement in the game's not that good, so it feels more rewarding when you succeed and you get your canary plushes from trading in all the screws. Like, I think that's good. As far as like the Pokemon battles themselves, you know, like to me the game still feels pretty traditional, like a turn-based Pokemon game, despite it being, you know, all the moves just being on a timer, right? So there is aspects of speed and reaction time, and you can dodge. And again, I don't think they did a very good job of any of that. So, like, it's difficult to, like, do the combat well, but I think that's good, because I think that's, to me, is actually why it still feels like a Pokemon game, where it's more, you're just waiting your turn to use your next attack. You know, like the way the game controls and stuff, you know, so when you target, your menu appears, like all of that felt good to me, and then you can just select the attack, and you know, then you'd be waiting to use quick attack again, or you use a different move. So like for me, it still felt fairly turn-based with the active elements. You know, the only things I didn't like in the combat, you know it's still good, but like whenever I know they're about to attack, sometimes like Talonflame here moves pretty quick, but some of the other Pokemon are slower to react. So if I walk away, he doesn't necessarily start moving immediately, and he might get hit by the attack. So the combat system isn't perfect. It's like I have the intent to tell the Pokemon to dodge that attack, and then they don't. You know, it's like I don't know how you could make it much better, but you know, that was kind of my thought on it. Like it still feels turn-based. It feels like you can't avoid things well, but if you spend enough time practicing, which you do throughout the game, you get better at it. And I still don't feel like I'm good at doing the combat, but like overall, I think it's pretty good. You know, next points though. So I think the Rogue Mega bosses was a good way both to introduce megas. So they also did that with some of the boss fights, like Canary introduced the Mega Electros. Like some of these weren't in the teasers, so we didn't know about them. It's always good design for them to show us that, you know, in a boss fight, the Rogue Megas, or literally a boss fight, is the final Pokemon from some team. Like, I think the Rogue Megas was a step up from the boss fights from Legends Arceus. You know, it's more, you know, I guess personal preference, but they kind of have a similar vibe, but I felt more in control for the Rogue Mega fights in this game. Speaking of Megas, I think it was, you know, really great that the Megas are just in the game, and they just give you lots at the Stone Emporium. You can buy a lot of the Mega Stones, and then at Quasartico Inc. you can buy most of them. Most of them are here. They had a few you buy with money at the Stone Emporium. So early on, when they introduce it with the Rogue Mega Absol as the first one, after that fight, you soon get access to Mega Stones at both of those, and then Megas are an important aspect of the game, the rest of the game, which is really nice. Pokemon X and Y didn't really give you a lot of access to the Mega Pokemon. There's only a few you could really use during the story, and the rest were only in post-game or given away as events. So, you know, we have a little bit of that in this game. You had to do the ranked battles here, which that gave me access specifically to, I think it was Greninja. There will be one more. So we got Greninja from that. And was it the Delphox? It might be Delphox. Yeah, I think it's Delphox. The last one will be Chespin. So if I go back to the Pokedex, yeah. So Delphox and Greninja, we got the Megas from participating online, and I would assume Chestnut will get one as well, because these were the other starters they included. And they also included, you know, Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. Which, like, it was weird to me that they made the Venusaurite a Rogue Mega. So if you picked Bulbasaur, you couldn't have bought it before you encounter it, but you could buy the Charizard heights and the Blastoise height from the Stone Emporium. That's probably one of the stranger ones. But just on the whole, though, having access to, you know, it's probably like 55 of these before the post game, as opposed to 3, right? So it's like, on a whole, I think the Megas are an important aspect of the game. You could beat the game. I think there's probably only one mandatory Mega in the game, which is the Absol. You may not even have to Mega it yourself, but you're forced to put it in the battle with Tawny after you quell it or calm it down. The other thing was the ZA Royale. I think the ZA Royale, like, in the main game it's kind of fun because you don't have to work that hard to get your points. In the post game, like, there's still fun things about it. Optimizing a path and, you know, fighting more trainers was good, but it was repetitive, and getting enough money to get all the clothes was kind of hard. Yeah, that's my main gripe, I'd say. For the game itself, oh, hold on. Let me pause. let me wrap up my thoughts. So, I think the design of the city was nice. Because Lumios isn't that big in X and Y, but this feels big enough. Of course, it's not as big as other games, or even Legends Arceus, but I think it's big enough that you have diversity in the different parts of the city. Kind of the canal district, there's the dojo, there's the sewers, there's enough places you can enter. Like, it would be nice to enter more buildings and actually like go in the shops like you could in X and Y, go into the cafes, right? But largely they do enough to let you explore. Like, I think, like I already pointed out, some of those challenges on the scaffolding, you know, it was nice. You got to explore, try and figure out how to get to one of those colorful screws. You can see it's there, but you might not be able to get it. I like the character design. Let me fly to the hotel. Like, I won't go through every character, but you know, Tawny, your main rival, I think is pretty cool. Like, she's kind of incompetent. Not really, but she makes a lot of mistakes and just runs off and drives the story forward because she just wants to help people. Like, Lyda here, I think was really fun. She's always just feel like she just wants to live her life, but then she's begrudgingly here to help constantly and organize the team meetings. And I really like Naveen. He's kind of a nerdy, obsessed with Canary weirdo, but he feels respectful about it, and I love his, you know, he's always designing clothes and stuff, and the logo, it reminds me of one of my friends. Really like all the, you know, the little art they threw in the game. I think is actually pretty cool. Like, you don't necessarily stop to look at it, but I think all of this was probably designed by people. The music, you know, really draws you in. I love the kind of jazzy aspects of it. Yeah, I think the game was difficult enough too. So, like, I was using items in battle and frequently was struggling to beat some of the opponents in some of the boss fights. The end of the game seems daunting for, like, you know, I don't really like the idea of a Nuzlocke in general, but like the Nuzlocke challenge, like fighting the tower at the end, like I don't know how you could do it. I used so many items, so, you know, and like the bad platforming, right? Like all of those difficult things made the game compelling. Like, I felt like I should complete it and collect all the things, right? Let me put away my constantly running Ampharos over there. So, like, really, and like, I've started this stream just looking at all the clothes in the game. You know, they put a lot of time and effort into the art. I think my favorite place to visit was the museum. There's like so many references to the other games in the museum. It's like the only thing I think that would make this game immeasurably better is the voice acting. So, I don't know if I'd give it I mean, I'll give it a rating out of 10. Like, it feels good enough to earn a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. You know, some people might be more generous. Like, I'm a lifelong Pokemon fan, but I feel like that's already over generous. Those small changes could bring it up to like a 9 maybe, but you know, I don't really expect Nintendo Game Freak Pokemon Company to do voice acting probably for another decade, right? But here's hoping Gen 10 shows us that I'm wrong. You know, going forward, I'll come back, you know, I guess it's 9 days from now, the DLC will become available. So I want to see what new megas and what new story they have for us. But, you know, other than that, I might try a challenge run in the game. But I haven't even thought about what that might be. So look out for some streams in the future. Maybe I'll edit some of this into videos. Yeah. For anyone that did watch, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day, good night, whatever it is where you're at. Thank you.